everyone, it's Joy here, and I am so excited to show you how I used the Love Notes bundle to create this super cute card. Now I have die cut the A2 postage stamp stacklets, the mini envelope, the medium envelope, and the love letters die, and there's also a stamp that's included with that, which I'll be using here in just a little bit. I'm going to fold the envelopes on the score lines, and then I want to glue just the bottom. But when I'm gluing it, I want to make sure that I don't glue these flaps to the inside of the envelope, because I do want to tuck my cute little love notes inside. So I'm going to use just the tiniest bit of glue, and then I can fold this up, and I will use my reverse tweezers to hold it in place. But again, make sure you use just the tiniest bit of glue. That way it doesn't squish out when you put it together. I'm going to do the same thing for the medium envelope here. This is die cut from Sugar Cube Cardstock. The love letters die is also die cut from Sugar Cube Cardstock, and there's two sizes. This is the cute lines for your lined paper. This is from that Love Letters stamp set that goes with the die here. So in my Misti, I have my little letter, and then I have my stamp with the lines. I'm going to be using mushroom ink for my lines. I just thought it was a fun, different color, and because I want to distress and age things, I felt like it was a good color to go with that. So I'm just adding my little love notes here, stamping with that striped stamp. This goes really fast, especially because you have the Misti. Then from that same stamp set, there are cute little sentiments. So I want to stamp a sentiment on each one of these letters. So that first one says, I love you. I am stamping this in Cherry Pop ink. And here is that stamp set. This one says hugs and kisses. I am lining these up towards the top because they will be tucked into an envelope. One of the letters will be covering the other letter. So I want to make sure that I can read all of the sentiments that I'm stamping. So let's add now to the larger love letters. This one says sending love. I'm just using my reverse tweezers to straighten it out. It wanted to stick to my fingers because it's a good stamp and it's good and sticky, but I needed to use my reverse tweezers to get it nice and straight. And then the last one is going to say, be mine. I had so much fun with these stamps and dies. My favorite thing was actually the large envelope, which we're going to do here in just a second. I think it turned out so darling. Okay, so there's some of these little stamps in here reminded me of postage stamps. So this one says XOXO. I'm actually going to use Earl Grey ink to ink this up. Then I'm going to add another little stamp next to it. You know, sometimes when you get letters, you have multiple postage stamps. So that's how I'm treating these little stamps. I'm going to use this small heart here. I'm going to line that right up next to the other one, and I'm going to stamp this in the Cherry Pop ink. And now we have our little postage stamps, which I think are so, so cute. I do want to add a sentiment to this, and this says just a note, which I thought obviously goes perfect because these are all little letters inside, and I'm going to ink that up with the mushroom ink. The small envelope, I'm not going to do anything with because you are not going to see the front of that. So now it's time to age, and I am using Toffee ink. This is like old school distressing. I'm just using the ink cube, distressing the edges, really lightly going across the paper and the envelopes. I wanted these to look old and like they've been read a lot. I'm also going to splatter with the mushroom ink. So I'm just going to put a little bit of the ink on my work surface. I added a little bit of water, and I'm using a paintbrush to just add a little bit of splatter to these cute little letters. Now I want to fold these like they were folded up in the envelope. So I'm just going to fold them in thirds like you would a regular letter. I'm using my bone folder to get nice crisp folds. Then mainly on the top part of the letter and down the sides, I will bend some of the edges. I'm going to use the edge of my scissors to rough up some of the edges so it looks just tattered and old. And then if I needed to add a little bit more ink, I will just bring that toffee ink in and add a tiny bit more. But now they look a little bit like they've just been read so many times because the recipient just loved them so much. I'm going to do the same thing for the larger ones, but I just wanted to make sure that everything was fitting into the envelopes. That one that says hugs and kisses will not be in the small envelope, so I did add a little bit of distressing to the bottom of the letter. Let's fold this one the same that I did with the smaller ones. And let's finish up with this last one, taking the scissors again, roughing up the edges, bending some corners down, and then folding it into thirds. Okay, now let's do the envelope. I did just a little bit of roughing up the top part of the envelope. It wasn't that much at all. Then this die is die cut from Toffee Cardstock. This is the A2 postage stamp Stacklets. This is the largest one. I'm adhering that to a white card base, and then I want to lay out how my letters are going to be on the front of the card. Then I can adhere the letters to the envelopes and then adhere the whole little envelope and letter package there to the background. I'm just going to use a little bit of tape runner because I need to be able to move it around so I can get this exactly how I want it. I don't want to cover up any of the sentiments on the envelope. I don't want to cover up any of the sentiments on the letters. So I'm just laying everything out carefully so that way everything can be read. Okay, I think we're good. So let's put this last one in place. And then we need to add another sentiment. It's the mini strips sending, and then I'm going to use the coordinating mini strips die. So I have a piece of sugar cube cardstock in the Misti. I did take out the foam insert because this is a red rubber stamp, and I did ink this up with Earl Grey cardstock. I'm just going to use one sentiment that says special delivery. I thought it was perfect for this card. But I love these because you get so many sentiments and then you can just have them in your stash for future projects. I'm going to line up that mini strips die, run that through my die cut machine, and then I have all of these sentiments. But again, I just need the one that says special delivery. My original thought was I was going to line it up at the bottom straight, but I actually ended up doing it a little bit crooked. I did distress it with the toffee ink. I'm going to add a little bit of liquid glue behind it, and I liked it on a diagonal. I think it's really cute. And then I want to finish off with some bits and pieces hearts. I'm going to use the red hearts, just a few of those scattered on the background, and then we can take a look at this up close. I love that this card has dimension because those letters have been folded so they sit off. So don't glue them flat, just add a little bit of glue in some of the places. That way you have some dimension. Thank you guys so very much for stopping by and watching. You can find all of these products at the Tailored Expressions web store at tailoredexpressions.com.